Welcome everyone to week 6. This is legal week. In my opinion, one of the best weeks we will enjoy in this class. Some of you may not feel the same, and that's okay. It's okay that we all have different interests in business. Depending on your approach, this is either your favorite week, or some people think this is not their favorite week. But we'll be talking about the different legal structures of your business, as well as licenses and taxes. And those will be our topics this week. Project 2 is due, so keep a close eye on that. I hope you've been spending some time on it. If you have not started that, I encourage you to start immediately. As I've mentioned a few times before, but Project 1 and 2 are a little bit more time intensive than our other projects. Then of course you'll have your reflection this week. So let's jump in to legal structure. You'll have the option to choose from a variety of legal structures. The link here is for U.S. legal structures, and I'll spend a little bit of time on that. If you are residing outside of the U.S., then you'll need to do some additional research on what legal structures are available in your country. But as I've found, most will follow closely at least the theory of these basic legal structures that we'll go through in a minute. They may have different terminologies, and the details may be a little different, but I'm hoping this can give you a good base for what different legal structures are available. And then for your essay, you will indicate which legal structure would be best for your business, and then you'll talk about why you chose that legal structure and then how you would set it up. So fairly straightforward. What I want to do is briefly go through these different legal structures. I'm sorry, I didn't indicate. If you click this link, it will take you to hg.org. And at hg.org you can see just a brief explanation of your basic legal structures here. Some abbreviated definitions. You can dig as deep as you'd like on all of these. These are very common terms. But I think they give you a good description for what you could do in this course. So just briefly, a sole proprietorship is a very common model for small business owners, and it doesn't take much in most states to establish this. A sole proprietor means you are the owner of the business. You have ultimate say on how everything goes. The advantage is full control of the business. The only drawback is that your personal assets are liable in the event of a lawsuit. And that's typically the balance for business owners is ownership and control versus liability. And so the sole proprietorship gives you full and complete control of the business. However, you as a business owner means your home, any personal assets or anything like that would be subject to liability in the event of a lawsuit. A partnership is the exact same as a sole proprietorship, except that you have two or more individuals. You can establish this partnership by in most cases just a simple document where you delineate the terms of the partnership, typically a percentage ownership. But you can do some research in your own state on what will be required, but very much the same thing. The partners have complete and total control of the company. No one else does. But the partners are liable in the event of a lawsuit. Corporations, I won't spend a lot of time on this. There's C Corps and S Corps, and there's some tax advantages to that. It's a little bit more complex, so I don't spend a lot of time on corporations in this class. I think it's pretty rare for a student to choose one of those, but certainly if you feel comfortable wading into that arena and feel like an S Corp or a C Corp is advantageous to you, then it's certainly a common form of business that you can pursue. And then finally, limited liability companies. This is fairly common for new businesses as well. What they do is allow a new business owner to start a company with what they call limited liability, meaning if somebody has a lawsuit against the company, the liability of the owner is limited to the assets of the business rather than their personal assets, and so it separates out that that liability and protects the personal assets of the business owner. However, limited liability comes with certain regulations, and there needs to be a board of directors. That board can ultimately seize control from the owner and remove them if they feel like that's the right thing to do. So there is some give of control of the company in exchange for that limited liability. So there's a balance between, again, that control and liability. Typically, you don't need that board of directors until the company grows, but I'll let you research the individual implications of that in your state. But that is the basic overview of our business structures. I think probably the most common business structure for students is a sole proprietorship. The second most common is a limited liability company. So that will be it for our legal structure assignment. I can talk probably for too long about the advantages and disadvantages of different legal structures. So if you'd like further insight or thoughts on that, please reach out to me. Please also note I am not a corporate law attorney, and so I couldn't give any applicable and valid legal advice, particularly in your areas. Those regulations will change state to state. Our licenses and taxes assignment, this will require even a step further in research on your part, just because licenses and taxes vary so much country to country, state to state, territory to territory, even city to city. There's different taxes, different licenses required. So your assignment here is to research your individual location and describe the licenses and taxes requirements for there. So in your Word document, you'll need to explain any licenses that apply, any taxes that apply, explain how you came to your conclusion, and then this last step's important, provide references, typically URLs, excuse me, for the information that you gathered, and explain why these resources were helpful. If you are struggling to find information on this, keep in mind that states and cities, territories, really any location, will typically want you to establish a business there because they will benefit from the taxes that you generate. So if you need to call or reach out to a specific location, they're typically very helpful and friendly because they want additional businesses to be created there from which they can benefit. Typically, that's not true of every location, but in most areas, you'll be able to find the information you need and find some friendly service if you have to call a city hall or a state government. Most of the time, there's a lot of information like that online because, again, they want to make this information easily accessible and clear to potential new business owners. And that will be it for this week. So an exciting week, I hope. If you've got, again, questions on how to research this, please reach out. My guidance this week to you will probably be more how to find the information rather than what the information is, as it will be unique to your individual location. But please do reach out if you get stumped on these things. I'd be happy to help out. Thank you.